Hello and welcome to Complexity Limits Guide for the Mythic Hivemind encounter, written and produced by Crzypck in coordination with Complexity Limit, brought to you by GameStop. Just as a note before we begin, this video is entirely focused on the Mythic changes and strategy for this fight. We are not going to be discussing the basics from Heroic. If you want to learn more about the basics from Heroic with how the fight works, please visit the video for that on our YouTube channel. We recommend going in with 2 tanks, either 4 or 5 healers, and 13 or 14 DPS. This fight is doable with 4 healers, but 5 will make it safer. If you aren't sure, test with both and see what works better for your guild. Also, we strongly recommend bringing a Blood Death Knight as one of your 2 tanks. Mass Grip is insanely valuable for this encounter. To begin with, you should use Bloodlust on pull. The only new mechanic on Mythic is that after Echoing Void's initial explosion, it'll leave a small purple swirly behind, which will explode after a few seconds. This ability is still pretty straightforward to handle. Spread for the explosion, then move out of the swirly. You'll start with Tekris in control, then swap controls roughly every 1 minute 15 seconds. Note the swap is not exactly at every 1 minute and 15 seconds, as the exact timings will fluctuate a little bit. As in Heroic, Tekris' control requires the bosses to be stacked, and Khazir's control requires the bosses to be spread. As far as the rest of the fight is concerned, everything is significantly amped up from Heroic. The adds will heal more when they're at low health during Khazir's control, the Darter's cast now packs quite a bit more punch, the Ravager adds pummel tanks and have a lot more health, the Bowling Ball adds now come in 2 waves at a time, staggered by a couple seconds, and the Volatile Eruption adds have had their health buffed dramatically. To handle all of this, you'll want to carefully plan out both your DPS and healing cooldowns. Whenever drone adds spawn during Tekris' control, the raid should collapse on the bosses, use cooldowns, and annihilate the group of adds. Focusing Iris is incredibly useful here for classes who don't contribute massive AoE during cooldowns. When the drones spawn during a Khazir control, you'll have 2 different options. For option 1, you'll essentially ignore the drones due to the self-healing and have the healers instead use cooldowns as needed to keep the raid stable, simply waiting out until Tekris' next control. When the next Tekris control occurs, wait for the new spawn of adds, collapse in melee, and blast the living hell out of everything. However, the healing requirement for option 1 may not be manageable for your guild. If that's the case, and you cannot heal through the set of drones during Khazir's control and just simply wait them out, you should instead pick one of the 2 bosses and have the raid collapse on that. If using this strategy option, you'll blow AoE cooldowns and Focusing Iris after collapsing on your selected boss to blast down these adds instead of using them during the Tekris adds. Ensure that you actually kill these adds through their self-healing. When the Darters spawn, all ranged DPS should hard swap and focus them down. Melee should kill any that come near the bosses. If you have Blood Decay, you should use Mass Grip on these adds during Khazir's Hivemind control and make sure they die ASAP and don't just heal themselves up forever. You should also utilize single Death Grips to bring these Darters back into melee range whenever possible. When the Ravager add spawns, all DPS should hard swap and blow it up as quickly as you possibly can. The tank damage here is significantly more impactful than on Heroic, so you want it alive for as small amount of a time as possible. The Volatile Eruption adds will spawn at 1:25, 3 minutes and 53 seconds, and 7 minutes and 13 seconds into the fight. Their health pool on Mythic is quite a bit higher than it was on Heroic, and we found it much easier to just simply ignore it. Instead, pre-assign a major healing cooldown for when the explosion happens. Your best bet is Evo Aura, but pretty much anything will work. It'll take your guild a few pulls to get used to the flow of this fight, and every guild will find slightly different pain points. If you're going with drone strategy option 1, you may want to use available healing cooldowns during Echoing Void when Khazir has control to help make sure everyone stays stable when the drones are also hitting people. If you're using option 2, maybe your remaining healer cooldowns will fit better when the Darters are alive, as their AoE can be quite dangerous. Some of these things you'll just need to decide based on your own guild and how you guys want to approach the encounter. As a final note, if you want very detailed timings of when each add spawn or ability occurs, you can find that in our written guide at complexity.gg/limitguides. Thanks for watching. We hope you found the guide helpful. If you'd like more details on this encounter or how it works, please click the link below to our written guide. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. You can also find the rest of our Ny'alotha boss guides right here on our channel or at complexity.gg. For more content like this, follow Complexity on Twitter and subscribe to their YouTube channel. To keep up with Limit's race for World First, follow them on Twitter.
Happy raiding!